Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Powerful on Purpose podcast. Super excited to introduce you to today's guest. You're in for a treat. And yeah, like just looking for the juiciness that she's going to share with us today, right? So we have Darla. Is it Ridella. Wanted to get that correct, right? In my pre-notes, didn't hit on that. She is a speaker, an author, and she also has her own podcast called You Have the Power. And she's a certified somatic, traumatic informed relationship coach. And she's going to decode all that for you. But she helps high achieving women stop shrinking themselves in relationships and start showing up as their full, unfiltered selves. Like she's our kind of gal, right? Like we need that here. She helps women who are done being told they're too much, too intense, too emotional, too whatever it is. How many of y'all felt like that? Raising my hand here. She helps those women reclaim their power and stop settling in their relationships. So whether it's a partner, a boss, friend, or family member, because lots of relationships in our lives, Darla shows her clients how to set radical boundaries, trust their inner wisdom, and build connection without sacrifice. Woo! Welcome, Darla. Excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you invited me.
Yeah, it's a delight. So, tell us a little bit about, because I always like to start here, and it's fascinating for me, right? Storytelling. What was a story that brought you to what you're doing now that you went, wait a minute, why am I not helping other women overcome this or whatever it is?
Yeah, and it started back in childhood as it often does. And I didn't know that's where the beginning was. It was in 2013 that came apparent to me. I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship with a narcissist. Didn't even know it was abusive till a year after I left when a counselor said, "This is not love." But and then I started really working on my healing. And then in the early 2020s, I got involved with two more narcissists as boyfriends. That was kind of a wake up call for me. Like, I've been working on my healing for about 10 years. Why is it that two more came into my sphere here? And there was an epiphany for me about a year or two ago that, okay, while I'm not responsible for their behavior, I am responsible for how I attracted that, how I interacted it and allowed it. And because I don't love myself, and it's bigger than that, I don't even know who I am. I I can't love someone I don't know. And it was a book I read called Single on Purpose by John Kim that the light bulb went off. And that's when I started really looking at my self relationship, looking at my own patterns of why that person was attractive to me in the first place. And so that really led me on a journey. And during that journey, also, as I was trying to get counseling with licensed therapists for my own narcissistic abuse recovery, I realized that there's some great therapists out there who have no idea what narcissistic abuse recovery really is about. It's a brainwashing that occurs over several years, and you don't just get over it. And I really felt abandoned by the mental health community. And so I started originally coaching specifically on narcissistic abuse. And then as my own healing journey evolved this past year, I realized it's bigger than that. It's more about my self relationship. So I can spot the narcissists are still going to show up. I just can spot them faster.
Right? Boom. Like so many gold nuggets when within there, right? Because it's a freaking onion when you start down
Mhm.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
personal development. You're like, this never ends. I thought I dealt with it. Here it is back again. But you're right. And I kind of like to think about it's like the universe tempting us, going, did you learn the lesson yet? We got to go down this road again.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Even as recently as a couple weeks ago, I met someone, but now that my radar's up, well, I don't know what his patterns are. I saw behaviors that in the past I would have said, "Oh, I'm being too harsh. Oh, I'm being too critical." But within the second conversation, I said, I'm not interested in going out with you. It's nothing personal, but this doesn't work for me."
Right? Exactly. And so much cleaner to go, wait a minute, like this is not where I want to go. Cut it off, move down the road. Nobody's upset. Nobody's heart's broken. Instead of reinventing or keeping that wheel going. So yeah, uh, love what you're doing. What are you working on right now that you're super fired up about?
Yeah, I am just really I've been re-engineering my podcast, so focusing more on really that self relationship, but also just building my coaching business. Getting helping these women to understand. I talk about you're not too much, you're just accepting too little. Love yourself for exactly who you are. It doesn't matter what other people's perceptions of who you should be. Be you. Yes, you're going to offend people. Yes, you're not right for everybody, but the right person is going to think you are amazing. Not perfect, but amazing.
Right, right. So do you specific or predominantly work with women in relationships, intimate relationships, personal relationships with a significant other? Is that kind of where your focus is?
Well, while I we do talk about all relationships, there does seem to be a focus on the intimate romantic relationships. Yes, because I think while there we do feel that pain with friendships and family, I do think me personally, I'm just speaking of myself. The pain of rejection or something not working out to me hurts more with romantic than it does in other areas. I think it's, easier to identify with.
Right. Yes. Yes. Like that started my brain down the rabbit hole, right? But you're right. There is something. Well, I think it's really we want that person and we want them to validate us, right? We want to have that connection. And when it goes sideways, then it makes us doubt our own capabilities, our own worth, our own value. You're right. And that trigger thing starts.
Absolutely. We start down that. What did I do wrong? Did I scare them off? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have said this. And the truth is it's a partner. It's supposed to be a partnership. Even in early dating, it's not necessarily committed, but there's supposed to be reciprocity. I invest, I ask a question, you invest, how are you reacting to conflict? How are you doing this or that? And if they're not the right person, they actually did us a favor. They ghosted us.
Right. Yeah. You're like, bless you, and send them on. I agree. I honestly sometimes feel that in business relationships as well. Right.
Yes.
Same thing. Uh, yeah. Somebody ghosts me. I'm always like, thank you. Not sure what I avoided, but thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so what shift, if any, do you see happening in the online space related to your particular niche?
Yeah. I think online, I started out more identifying more with the pain, the trauma sitting in it. And I see a lot of other people doing that too. And one thing I've kind of shifted to is acknowledging it, but showing how I got from A to B. You're not sitting in because what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for the woman who's stuck in her victimhood. I'm looking for the woman who says, I know it's things aren't right. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm ready to do the hard work. I'm ready to face the hard truths about myself. So online, I've been trying more to get away from that trauma identification and more of this happened to me. This really sucked, but this is how I moved through it and I'm doing better in this situation.
Absolutely. No, I love that reframe. And I think it's such a powerful one, and such a great lesson for us online. Yeah, not to be stuck in that, but to show the power moving forward. Hey, look at me now, healthy and working on it. Because let's face it, people, that is a lifetime commitment here that we're talking about. Every time you're like, yay, I made a leap, then it's like, oh, there's 14 more ahead of me.
Yeah.
Know that one. So what do you find is working really well in your business right now?
Yeah, I think the thing that's working the best is the podcast. And maybe because that's where I feel the most comfortable. I absolutely love doing it, would do it for free for the rest of my life. But what is so touching to me is when I get emails from listeners and that they'll say, I so identified with, this story you told or this episode, and it helped me with something in my own life. That to me is beautiful. I mean, that
Right.
is really what it's about.
Right. As moving even for one person, right?
Mhm.
Moving that needle for them. Yeah, absolutely cool. Yeah. Is there an area in your business that you feel like you need to work on, or you find frustrating or challenging?
Yes. It's speaking engagements. I feel like that world has really changed. I'm actually taking a little bit of a hiatus from speaking at summits while I focus on some other priorities. But I'm noticing, and I think maybe because so many people are doing the virtual summit thing, that they don't seem to be as lucrative or, turning into clients as they used to be. So that's has been very, because I love doing it, but it seems like most of the attendees are speakers and not real attendees.
Right. Yeah. Like you're swimming in the wrong pool kind of thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Yeah. And if you could, like, if you envision your business 12 months from now, what would that look like for you?
Yeah. For me, it would look like a combination of things. It would be having a thriving coaching business with my one-on-one clients, but also those speaking engagements that I'm traveling around the country, maybe even the world by a year, um, speaking and speaking in large audiences because that's where the most impact is. My first book would be finished and published, right?
Cool. And what would be the topic? What would be the thing that you would want your your audience as a speaker to walk away with?
I want him to walk away with that mantra that I am not too much. I am just accepting too little. I am perfect just as I am. And as I embody myself, the right people will show up.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Such a powerful message. And I know you're somatic trained as well. So talk to us a little bit, because I think sometimes that term, like, nobody quite knows what it means. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. It's very scientific and it has a lot of fancy scientific words that come with it. But to make it easy to understand, basically, somatics is the body and the nervous system. And whenever we experience a trauma, it records in our brain, but it also records in our body. And if we don't release it, it actually hides under the surface, like a little infection we don't know we have, a toothache that's coming up in the future, those kind of things. And what I do with my clients is that when they are talking about a current challenge, I'm asking them not just how do you feel about it, but how does your body react to that? What sensation? You didn't feel heard? Is your throat feeling tight? Okay, when did that happen in the past? Often in childhood. And what I'm finding is that it often, those connections, we don't have to go like the typical talk therapy where we have to talk about everything, that rehash it, re traumatize. That's where the trauma informed comes in. Let's talk about that one situation and how that connects today. Oh, your dad had you walking on eggshells. And so when a man is inconsistent, while it's familiar and your body, your chest is tight, this isn't healthy. So let's talk about how we can go back to the little girl um, that felt unloved in that moment and love her on your own and give her support. So in the future, she won't let other people do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Because yeah, I have a couple degrees in psychology, like, true confession here, right? But it never was my path because I always felt like that is not enough. And so, yeah, found breath work my own self. And so, really, somatic coaching, if you have had experienced trauma, you really ought to do yourself a favor and try it, because Darla's go figure, right? Darla's completely right. But this idea of things getting stuck in our body and not being able to move them through just by talking. And when you can incorporate the body, the emotions, the mind, then you can move stuff through. You don't have to rehash, go down that big long rabbit hole of reliving all that stuff, and allow that body release. So, yeah, love that aspect. And I'm so happy to really see people are embracing that and incorporating that with the two, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
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 Yeah. What's been the and obviously no details or anything, but what's been a story of someone you've worked with that's had a really uh maybe horrific or something they couldn't really get past, and you were able to take them to a different place?
I think it's the woman that she was in several abusive relationships, and she was a very strong, successful career woman, as many of the clients are. That what is it? I have it so together in my outer world. Why is my inner world? Why do I keep being attracted to these men? And so, really helping her to understand that it really did go back to childhood, that her relationship with her dad wasn't stable. And so she sought that self-validation. She couldn't give herself validation, helping her to understand that outside validation is great, but it shouldn't be what drives your decisions. Helping her to understand that it's okay to say no, and it's okay to be alone for a while until you find a person that's good for you. And that was really wonderful to watch that transformation of giving herself permission to say no, permission to be by herself, and permission to say yes when it was right.
Right? And permission to say whatever was on her mind, right?
Yes.
I know this
Yes.
is a PG show, so I won't say what's on my mind.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think, the core of what you're saying, um, is really permission to find who she was and be that person.
Yes. That's exactly.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So what advice would you give to someone maybe who is either considering trying somatic coaching or is feeling that like the outward super successful, inward, I feel like I'm a total train wreck.
Mhm. I would say, first of all, just say it's okay that I feel this way, that this is actually a good thing because it's the catalyst. And it's okay if you don't know how. You don't need to know how. That your coach is going to help you find that how, because the answers are in yourself. She's just going to guide you to find them. I think the most important thing for her to know is if she has the willingness to face whatever it is she needs to work through, she can do it.
Very well said. Yes, exactly. And I know you have a free gift for listeners, free magnetic connections call. You want to give us a little insight what that is?
Yes. So that is a free 30-minute call. And that's for that woman who says, she's right. I do know something's not right in my relationships. And that can be family and friends too. And I want them to be better. I know that I want to feel like it's okay to say I'm not too much. Let's just have a conversation. Let's just see what those patterns are, identify them and see what your next step is.
Yeah, there you go. And very generous offer to spend time with people to whether they hire you or not, right? To say, okay, let's help you get moving forward and unstuck. Um, yeah, and we will leave the link for that in the show notes, just so you know. And there was something that you said that triggered another question, but then I squirreled off. So there you go, right? Um, yeah, but I think reaching out, right? Maybe this was where I was headed with this. Reaching out to another human. And honestly, there's something freeing about saying, I'm not perfect, right? Despite all this, and having someone mirror back to you, totally okay. You're totally normal. I think we need to normalize whatever anybody's calling mental illness anymore because it's a huge range. Somebody, the grandson I know has anxiety, right? And she said something about him having anxiety, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Everybody on the face of the planet has anxiety right now, right? It's not,
Right.
yeah. So we need to start talking about it like that. That it's not abnormal." And I think as well as this, because that was the thing. I heard a statistic. Um, was it 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 women will be in an abusive relationship in their
Mhm.
lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the statistics are scary. And then two, like if your work relationships aren't good, it's one of those things, right? Where if there's any area where your relationships are not good, all the other relationships are suffering. Or there's, again, back to your pattern, right?
Yes. Yes. How we do one thing, we do everything. Yes.
Exactly. Same thing with relationships. All right. Like it has been So delightful to have you. Are there any parting words you'd like to share? Any more? Like, you've given us a whole bunch of gold nuggets, but any more you want to drop?
Yeah, I would say that healing is, and getting in alignment with your life is not a destination. You're right. You mentioned this earlier. It is a journey. I am still on that journey myself. I am not perfect. But in those times when we aren't, let's give ourselves some grace. Because if we just the ability to see, oh wow, I can do that differently next time is probably a huge step from where you were yesterday, a year ago, 10 years ago. And it's okay. This is just being human.
Absolutely, yeah. And that cycle of awareness, trust, and then move on to what's next. So, yes, thank you so much. Yeah, love what you're doing. I think it's so important, such a need, and really appreciate the size of the impact and mission that you have.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for having me.
absolutely. All right. Well, catch us next time. Be sure and subscribe because we would love to have you be in on more conversations with powerful women who are making a difference with their story and their mission to change the world.